Hey guys, we are going to be looking today at something called foot to core sequencing. Now, I learned this from a couple of workshops I did with Dr. Emily Sphlichal, who's an American podiatrist and just an absolute barefoot guru. This is about creating stability in the fascial system. Now, as we all know, our muscles connect together in these long chains wrapped around by our fascia. And when our muscles contract, the fascia tightens. It's called the hydraulic amplifier effect. So when the muscle gets bigger and contracts, the tissue that surrounds and runs through it has a bit of a tension pull. And we can connect these lines of tension through the body, which will then give us some more stability on our leg when we balance, or if we're doing a fondue or a landing from a jump. Now, we're looking here with foot to core sequencing at the muscles that run in the foot, up the legs, and then continue actually all the way up to the skull. And with Thomas Meyer's works through Anatomy Trains, this is known as the deep front line. So we're looking at muscles that are the long toe flexors, that's your big toe and your other toes that do that. Runs up the back of the calf, through the back of the knee, has connections through your inner thigh, and connects through into the floor of your pelvis. It then connects up deep muscles, you're probably familiar with psoas. Then it comes up to your diaphragm. Actually sort of does a circular loop around the tissues of the heart as well, coming up into the neck, and will finish up into your skull and around near the back of the throat. Now, this is interesting because pelvic floor, diaphragm also form part of your core system, which is going to help with pelvic and spinal stability. And we can also find stability with what we do with our tongue in the roof of the mouth as well. So you can really create some good shape strength and shape stiffness with this little drill. So what we're going to look at with foot to core sequencing is getting a really good foot position first. And we're going to start with what's called a screw home mechanism, where I'm going to plant the toe and rotate my leg around so that my heel sits directly behind my second toe and my foot looks quite nice and wide, like a wide triangle. I'm going to do this on both feet. And then once I've got that set up, I'm then just going to practice pressing my toes down into the floor. It's a very gentle press and it's not a grab. So our foot screw home mechanism, this is going to help us give a better contact with tripod and a good solid connection with the floor. You're going to plant your toe down and then rotate the foot around so that it sits underneath. And you can see here I've now got a nice gap between my big toe and my second toe. So once again, plant the toe and rotate the foot around. From here, you can then get really good connection down through the digits. And remember, when I'm pushing my toes down to get short foot, it's that view, not that one. I don't want to be grabbing the floor. I'm literally pressing my toes down onto the floor. Then we're going to start to look and feel the connections as they come up the body. So if I ask you first of all just to press the toes down, you should feel the muscles on the underside of the feet wake up a little bit. And maybe you can also feel the muscles just tracking towards the back of the shin and maybe even up into your groin area. So have a little check-in. Can I feel that? And I'm then going to get you to either do a pelvic floor activation cue, so maybe just thinking of slowing the flow of urine. So we're going to press the feet down and then just bring that little connection in with the pelvic floor. And then release. And can you feel just the tension get a little bit more up the legs? We can reverse that as well. So if we start with the pelvic floor connection, so again, we have a little concept of just slowing the flow of urine. So you should feel a very mild connection here. Then if you press your feet down, do you find that that connection actually intensifies and has a little bit more energy? Some of you might even be able to feel connection here at the back as well, which is over lumbar multifidus, our spinal stabilizers. We're then going to bring in some other areas. So I'm going to get you now just to add in the tongue on the roof of the mouth or just behind the top row of teeth. So we've got our nice big wide feet, toe press, slowing the flow of urine, and then just tongue, top row of teeth. Can you feel that extra sense of internal connection through your body? We're going to then take a couple of deep breaths and just notice what happens on the exhale. So we've got feet, little pelvic floor, tongue, roof of mouth, inhale, exhale. And maybe at the end of your exhale, you just add a little bit more connection in through your feet. So hopefully you can feel this whole sense of the inside of your body just connecting together. It's almost like they're holding hands and becoming a bit stronger. Now, how is this going to be useful for us? Well, it'll be when we're doing one-leg stand balance drills. So let's say you're in a dance class and you're coming over to perform a tendu. Then you can have pelvic floor connection, or if you're working with transversus, you can do that. The toes connect onto the floor. And then we automatically have fascial stiffness in the leg, foot to core sequencing. And that will give us more support on that weight-bearing leg as we come through our exercise. We can also then create a bit more fascial stiffness as we're moving. So it doesn't have to be a static thing. So let's say, for instance, we're doing a fondu. I might be here, I might bend. Now we always want to let the tissues lengthen when we bend, so they want to decelerate and elongate. But as I come back up again, I might want to connect through my system a bit more. So I might have fondu, and then as I come up, my foot connects more, my pelvic floor connects, and I might even add a little bit up towards the roof of my mouth. So fondu, connect. You can take this into your training as well. So if I'm squatting, I might have lower and then connect again, foot to core as I return. So you're giving strength in the coming away from the floor part or the coming up against gravity part of your movement. So why don't you have a play with this? Play pelvic floor to foot, foot to pelvic floor. Add in the upper parts near the throat as well. Maybe play with your breathing. Remember, your exhale is going to have a little bit more stability around your core. And then you can practice adding it into some movement as well. So this is your foot to core sequencing, working along the fascial connections in the deep front line of the body. I hope you enjoy this tip, and I hope you feel nice and stable as a result. Bye.